Okay. So what we're going to do, if you are, I see that there was somebody, one person that I saw that is a respiratory therapist.
I
So,
think that was Rashonda
so
Herring.
if there's anybody else, so Rashonda, if I didn't do it right, just, I'll give you my email address. Just let me know, just privately between us, right? Between us. But if you're a nurse and work with respiratory therapy with a physician or something, just write it in the chat, just because we're interested to know, and Erica will report back. Also, save your questions and comments until later, until we'll give you some time at the very end, because this is jam-packed. This is quick. This hour is going to go by like 2 shakes of a lamb's tail.
But I will interject and say, if you're looking at who's on the chat, I'm on here twice. We're together. And so when she's doing her part, I'm going to be over on the other computer trying to answer as many questions as I can. So you'll see my beautiful face, and then I'll go over there. And then when she gets water all over my floor again, I'll be back.
Yeah. Okay. So my background is I had 25 years of doing what you guys are doing, health science, which I loved. Prior to that, it's a new name. It used to be medical technologist, but it's, I think, a clinical laboratory scientist. It's a nice formal name. Whereas I was a microbiologist, and somehow I don't even know how I ended up being a teacher and went on for, I got my doctorate at UGA, go dogs. And I left the hospital and I taught for 25 years, which was my passion. I loved it. I loved it. And when I retired, I went back to the hospital and I didn't love it as much as I used to. Erica over here was my boss for a few years, and that was nothing. And somehow, I don't know, we decided to go into business together. And then I don't know why that happened either, but it was just karma. So here's Erica. Here's Erica.
So Morris, when you said, I just do what I'm told, I completely understand that. And when she says that I was her boss, it was like, you get to see who was in control of everything. Okay. So I am Dr. Erika Ijames. This is my 29th year in education. I have 78 more days before I'm out for good behavior and I get to retire, but who's counting? I love teaching. My background is a little different from hers. As she said, I was quasi-administration for a while, came back to the classroom because I love it, but I am the science person. So I'm Broadfield certified, and I got my undergrad at Spelman College and my master's and PhD at Georgia State. So we don't have Go Dogs, and we barely mention the Panthers. But I teach the anatomy and physiology, chemistry, physics, this year's zoology. I'm just the Broadfield science person. And so December, we finally finished Medical Science 102.
Our second book.
And we'll talk a little bit more about that, because that is the infusion of the healthcare science with the anatomy part. So some people are really good at the healthcare science, but then when you infuse the anatomy, they're like, oh, I don't remember that much. And so we put those together. And I hope you enjoy the presentation. Like we said, we're going to go because it is jam-packed. So I am going to put up on the screen our presentation today.
Breathe Easy, which has to do with respiratory therapy and the respiratory system. And
some great ideas on how to teach this to your students, what we say, upper middle school, all the way up through high school, because there's some things that they can do, others that you would wait till they got older, which brings us to some of our disclaimers that we start. As I said, this is something that, depending on when this curriculum is taught in your school district, it may be for advanced middle school, advanced high schoolers, somewhere in between. So occasionally there may be some overlap with a teacher teaching multiple courses. So there, hopefully we have enough in here that's packed in that if a teacher in, let's say, 9th grade taught something, you can add to that in 11th or 12th grade with the respiratory therapy. As we've said before, we have been teaching for what, 25, 29 years, forever, basically. And there's some really great things that we've left in the past that we have brought back, spit shined off, and we were like, let's just improve on these and show you some of the old stuff that was really good that we don't have to throw out. When we're talking about the lab stuff in our presentations, we do a lot of lab stuff. So safety is of the utmost, but more importantly, we know there's COVID, we know the flu is around, everything. Safety is at the utmost. So you have to make sure you're monitoring your students at all time when they're performing a lot of these activities. This one in particular, water gets everywhere.
Oh, it's a mess.
I have my little PP pads. I live with these in my classroom. I stack them up. They're a game changer for cleanup. And so we'll use those, but just make sure that you follow proper safety. And we have to express, now, please make sure your kids wash their hands before and after, especially with these labs. And we do have rubrics and competency sheets for a lot of our stuff, but this particular respiratory therapy does not really have any of those.
No.
Because a lot of stuff is hands-on. All right, so the standards that we're covering in this webinar, we have some of the anatomy where we're looking at the muscular system as well as the respiratory system. Diseases and disorders we look at for every unit, and we have the things that the students can fill out, and I'll show you how we do that with a hands-on demonstration also. But we'll look at asthma, cystic fibrosis, things of that nature. Something that the kids absolutely love, and if you've heard this in your district like we have, where the students are, what is it, a gap in learning or whatever it is, the metric, medical mathematics, where we're looking at metric and using metric system and being able to analyze charts and graphs and tables related to healthcare. Effective communication, every unit has medical terminology. We're looking at diagnostic and therapeutic services, personal safety, and technical skills. So all of those are in this 1 hour presentation.
And Nancy, we tried to include all of them, but we just kind of ran out of time.
In this presentation today, we have a couple of activities we're going to do. We're going to show you how to do a DIY spirometer. And if you came to the NHSC conference in Cincinnati, the alphabet, I'm sorry. With us, we did the hanger woman activity. It was something that is a huge hit. I'm gonna show you how I use that anatomy part to infuse in this. And this is something that we do throughout the entire year, working with hanger woman. Peak flow if time allows, and how to make a lung, but we usually don't get to have. We may not get to that one. And then a couple of discussion things, quick review of the respiratory system, respiratory therapy as a career, and spirometry in general.
Okay, Erica's leaving, thank goodness, because she talks so loud. Oh my gosh. And I'm so short, I need a phone book. Do you guys remember what a phone book is? Probably not. Okay. Anyway, we start all of our modules with a case study. And this is to draw the kids in. It's a hook. And we try to incorporate most of the information, or as much as possible, from our module. So I'm not going to read all of this and insult your intelligence, but I'll tell you a little bit about Elijah. Elijah has asthma, and he had an asthma attack in the middle of the night, and he came into his parents' room and told them he was having trouble breathing, and they tried to find his nebulizer, which I meant to bring today. However, I can't do two things at once. Erica, I need to admit somebody, and you'll see.
Don't need to worry about that. I'll do the admitting. Just go
okay,
right.
thank you.
Okay.
And and he couldn't find the little rescue inhaler. So they got out a nebulizer, which they have on hand, and they put a little bit of medication, albuterol usually, into the nebulizer. And let's see, that is the nebulizer. The one on the bottom is for home. The one on the top is a portable one. They put some medication in there and let him breathe the mist, and he felt better. But his mom wanted to bring him to the emergency room, so they brought him to the emergency room, and he was seen by a physician. And in the beginning, his pulse ox was 85%, or his oxygen saturation. And then the physician ordered a spirometry, ordered lab work, gave him prednisone, and eventually they sent him home. The spirometry test had some irregular results. An X-ray was done, which was normal. And eventually, before they sent him home, they made sure that his pulse ox, or his oxygen saturation, had gone up to 95%. And that's one of our buzzwords with COVID. The physicians asked Elijah, "Are you taking your medication?" And Elijah just hung his head. He said, "No." "Are you doing your peak flows every day?" "No." So he extracted a promise from Elijah that he had to take his medication every day and chart his peak flow every day. And so he was put on a course of medication for a week, and then brought back to his pediatrician after a week. So we do this in order to get the kids in, because it's interesting, because they know about this stuff. Brothers or sisters or friends, somebody has asthma, and they kind of get excited about it, and they go, "Oh, I know what she's talking about." Yeah. So that's what we do with the beginning of every single module. I'm going to leave this to Erica now, because she's going to talk about Hanger Woman, and I'm going to be her assistant. Here, come on over. And don't talk so loud. You're giving me, I'm losing hearing.
I'm sorry, when I'm in my classroom, I have my teacher voice and everybody complains about it. And I get home, my husband's like, "Hey, you please stop. This is killing me." All right. So hanger man or hanger woman, what I do at the beginning of the semester, when classes are just starting and kids are moving around and you don't know where they're going to be, this is an excellent way to start the semester with the anatomy. This is found in our first module in Medical Science 102, which is Fundamentals of Anatomy, which is a big, broad overview of all the anatomy. And the activity in there, hanger man, hanger woman, what the students do at different tables is they are assigned one of the body systems that you see on here: reproductive, urinary, excretory, digestive, things of that nature. And they construct the body based on anatomical directions, and they have certain organs that have to go on there. And it's hung on a hanger. That's why it's called hanger man, hanger woman. Want to be gender neutral, so we're not going to call it hangman. If you've ever been to any of our presentations, we don't spend a lot of money for a lot of things, especially sometimes we know that people have a nice budget. Other times you don't, and you're getting stuff on your own. So this is very, very, very basic supplies. Beginning of the semester: scissors, tape, glue, colored paper, markers, index cards, hole punch, and the dry cleaner bag or a clear rain poncho. And that is so that we can put the organs on there. Okay. So for this particular presentation today, we're looking at respiratory system. So I did the hanger for the respiratory system, the organs that they had to have, from the nose, larynx, pharynx, all the way down to the lungs and the diaphragm. And what I do is I color coordinate all of the body systems, And so at the end of the presentation, I'll just do this. I'll show you this really quickly. So the hangers, you can see are regular hangers from the cleaners. You can go the cleaner. A lot of cleaners are happy to get rid of these. I went and got these fancy ones from, I think, like one of those discount stores, because I'll be using these when I take these home later. But this with index cards, so you just write the body system and you just put them on the different tables with the students. To get started, I just choose a student at random. They lay down on a white sheet of paper on the ground, and we mark them in supine position and correct anatomical direction so that we can use their body as a reference as to the size of the organs that need to go in. That way you don't have a group doing these teeny, tiny little lungs and this big heart. It all has to be able to go together. And this allows the students to talk among themselves at the table, as well as usually by the second day, they're interacting with the other organ systems, where they're like the digestive system is talking to endocrine. We're like, how big did you make the pancreas? So that they'll know how big the organ should be. This is an example of putting the organs together. As I said, everything is color coordinated. So we did reproductive green. So this was the group that did reproductive on our hanger man. And then we layered the organs. And what's cool about layering the organs is as you go through the semester, whether that kid stays in your class or not, when you get to that particular module where you're talking about digestive system, or in this case, respiratory system, you can just pull those hangers out and hang them up on the board. And the students will have some onus on, oh, we did that at the beginning of the semester. And then another thing that we do as we go through the unit, they do the malfunctions. All I did was just cut out the malfunctions from our book, our key, so that they could see what the malfunctions were, what they did, and what organs in the organ system were impacted by the disorder. And then you just keep it hung up. I don't know about you, but when they do evaluations, the administrators love to see all these graphics and stuff all over the room, and the kids are like, I did that. Hanger man, hanger woman, as we said, this is something that we did in Cincinnati with the teachers there. They were a bit shy at first, but as you can tell, we're going to get up, we're going to do stuff, we're going to have a lot of energy. And so they constructed hanger woman, whereas this normally in a classroom is a 2-day activity to get the kids familiar with the body and all that kind of stuff. They only had like 30 minutes that day. So they didn't have a lot of time, but because we're all in this field of healthcare science and science in general, we generally know a lot of these body systems and the organs and all that kind of stuff. So it didn't take them quite as long, but this is some examples. The first image right here are the teachers that are actually comparing, making sure their organs fit into the standard model. And then this is a group putting the muscular system together on here.
And here is the muscular system.
Yes, this is some of the muscular system is pink, so that they put it together. This one fell apart and I stepped on it and everything else. But as I said, this doesn't travel well. So we had some really good ones in Cincinnati and we had to throw them away because it was a mangled mess by the time we got to the room. But if you're keeping it in your room for demonstration purposes, it's really good. Depending on the paper that you use, longevity, I personally like cardstock, but you can use bulletin board paper and get the same effect. So this is a great way to introduce the respiratory system so that when the students are talking about the respiratory therapy and things of that nature, they know the organs that you're talking about. So.
Okay, one thing that, oh, you can go now.
Yeah, I'm going now. I'm going to, if anybody has any questions.
Go away. So one thing I did want to tell you about the teachers, they were so intimidated when we were just handing out, okay, this table does respiratory, this does muscular. They were so intimidated, they didn't know what to do. And we said, take out your phone, start measuring. So they really got into it. And we loved it. We loved watching their excitement. It was almost as good or even better than watching one of our children. Okay, careers in respiratory therapy. There are 3 pages in this PowerPoint. I'm not going to go into detail by any means. This is for you to help you with your kids. And we actually, have some people in respiratory therapy. But I will say that in all my 25 years of teaching, I've only had one respiratory therapist that I knew of. Anyway, it's a real interesting field because it is the healthcare professionals. They help people who are ill from respiratory problems, asthma, cystic fibrosis, bronchitis, emphysema, et cetera, et cetera. And some of their duties are actually diagnosing lung and breathing disorders and determining the best therapy along with the doctor. The doctor has to be there for everything to make sure that this is all correct. And they do a lot of education because they have to meet with family members to tell them how to use certain pieces of equipment. Education, minimum of 2 years, and that can be an associate's degree. There's a 4-year degree, which has more didactics in it. Erica knows that's like my favorite word, so she's laughing. There's not that much different in pay. However, the respiratory therapist who has the bachelor's of science gets to move on in their career, possibly go into management, go to be the head of a respiratory therapist, etc. And especially with the master's, they can go into teaching. And we have somebody here that is in respiratory therapy that actually went into teaching high school kids. Okay, I see a chat. I'm just going to just say it's a shame many of mine are afraid of becoming a respiratory therapist now due to COVID. Well, that's not only respiratory therapy, that's everything in healthcare, unless you are not around a patient. Probably health information is really good to get into right now.
Medical billing.
Right, medical billing. All right, so salary, I believe, has changed. In 2020, now I'm going by the Occupational Outlook Handbook, and I'm sure, and they only update every few years, but nationwide, it was about almost 63,000 for a 4-year degree and about 55,000 for a 2-year degree. However, with COVID, oh my gosh, salaries have gone way up. So many people are retiring. The baby boomers are retiring early from respiratory therapy because they're afraid, like other health professionals. Employment of the respiratory therapists from 2019 to 2029 was at a high, was growing from about 19%, except now they say it's growing even faster. And especially once COVID is hopefully under control or endemic, there will be people that will be going into respiratory therapy. There will be the patients or siblings of the patient or children, etc. Okay, that's all I want to talk to you about with careers on respiratory therapy. Now, I am going to talk to you about a spirometer. Now, you can get a spirometer on the left. What is it on? No, it's on the right. That is really expensive, $3,000. And it can measure all kinds of things. And it's cool. It's cool. And there's one on the right that was actually the first spirometer, I think mid-1800s. And ours sort of looks like that. But it serves the same purpose. And we're not trying to get all the values. We're just trying to get some of the values. We're trying to get the kids hooked on respiratory therapy. That's basically what we're trying to do. I got the one on the right when Erica was my boss, because she thought spirometry was I really needed it. So she let me spend the $3,000, but we were also in a research school. So our students actually used that, did research with And so they actually really needed that spirometer. So I was really excited. It was cool to make it work. And they had to blow out candles on this one. Okay, so what does it do? Basically, how much air is inhaled, how much is exhaled, how fast it's exhaled, and that's by the second. Ours doesn't do that. We can't do that. The total lung capacity, it's the volume of air in the lungs upon the maximum effort of inhalation and exhalation. And there's more, but you'll see what we have, what we're going to be doing. And I'm kind of nervous that we do have a respiratory therapist because she's going to keep me on check. But that's okay. All right, Erica, we're going to do the experiment.
Okay.
Okay, you're ready, guys? All right. We are moving. We are moving. Bear with us.
All right, so we're going to stop sharing this right now and put us up, right? We gotta see how we make ourselves bigger.
I wore a new scarf for you guys, just for you.
Okay, to see this presentation, if you guys go to the speaker, hopefully you can see us bigger instead of this little teeny tiny blurb that we have.
Okay, here I am. Okay, you see us? All right, we're going to try and keep an eye on this monitor. So what do you need? What do you need? Well, you need for this do-it-yourself spirometry activity, you need about, can you see it? Yeah, you see us. About 2 feet of vinyl tubing.
I would say 3.
Well, whatever, 2.5 feet. And one thing that's good about this is the students could do this at home. All they need is really the minimal. And it's not expensive, it's cheap.
Yeah, we try to do some stuff. If you're like us, I think somebody said they're on a COVID holiday this week. And so these are things that when we started doing this was stuff that you could do at home. This is ideal for a classroom, but if you're like me in the classroom, you get we're not going to be here this week, we're out. They can do this at home. And it's a lot of us stuff is here and home. Okay. And minimal cost.
Okay, I got to be careful here. Why don't you hold this?
Yes.
So I don't lay it on your tables. All right, you need a gallon. It's filled with water, but you need a plastic jug, about a gallon. We were using, don't make the mistake of using something like this because Erica was able to displace all the water and more. So we got inaccurate results. So something like that is better.
Yeah, I run and do yoga. So she's quite impressed with my lung
yeah,
capacity.
right, whatever. We need a bucket like this. This is like, this was mine, and I got it from being in the hospital, like with a toothbrush and hair comb and all that. So or anything will do, whatever you want. But this is kind of small. You have to put a little bit of water in, maybe about 2 to 4 inches, depending on how big it is.
Okay, before we go any further, I had this question and so did Lisa. Where do you get the tubing?
Oh, a hardware store, but actually I went to my husband's shop and got it, and it was black at the time, so I had to make it in America.
So
But
now
yeah.
she used me as the guinea pig.
But like Home Depot or Ace Hardware, or, any of that. Yeah. You can even get it online, but through Amazon, but it's just easier. All these places have it. You can use masking tape to make
The lines, the measurements on here.
Now, I did this with my grandson. He's 6. He had no patience for masking tape. So we didn't do it. We just did it with a Sharpie.
And then you have to make sure that you're measuring. So you measure out the water every.
Yeah, and we use 250 milliliters. Each of these marks is 250 milliliters. And let's see, you use a funnel or not. It's a little less messy. And I forgot to bring my funnel, sorry. And you need a Sharpie. And if you want food coloring, that's optional, but it's a little bit messier. All right, I'm just going to.
Here. No, you're not gonna be able to move it. Hold on one second.
Hold on. Okay, I will do this. I mean, I know how to do spirometry. This is going to be on the PowerPoint. I mean, you'll be able to get this, so you don't really need to read it. So I'm just going to move a little further down. Erica.
Administrator. Oh, look.
Sorry, I'm not used to this, these newfangled computers. Okay, so what you have to do, and I'm going to do this before, you have to be really careful about how you put this in the water. Now, what you're going to do is displace the water, and we're going to tell you what the volumes we want you to measure. So this is the tricky part, and Erica does it she's just so smooth with it. And then you put the rubber tubing up the gallon jug, and you will be amazed at how easy it looks, and how the first time we did it, it was in my bathroom, and we got water everywhere. And then my husband yelled from downstairs, why is there water coming down? So we had to change things up a little bit.
Yeah, but he should know by now, when you get loose in that little gutter, this is what you get.
So he got over it after he painted the ceiling. Okay, I'm not going to go through that. I do want to tell you, you should probably, first of all, this is not accurate. Unfortunately, it's not, but we're doing the best we can with
to give them an idea of how it works.
And, how they can compare things, how they could compare the different groups. Everybody's going to get in a group, and then they can compare and see, well, gee, why are they higher? Oh, they're athletes. Why are they lower? Well, she has a cold, but I'll tell you about that in a minute.
It's easy to spot the vapors also.
Oh, absolutely. So you try and do it about 3 times to get some sort of consistency. Take an average. And I'm going to talk about that in a minute. Yeah, and this is just pretty much telling how to get the different values. So this is what we're going to be focusing on. The tidal volume, which is your normal breathing, and that's really hard to normal breathe. It's like doing respiration when you say breathe normal, and you're taking somebody's respiration, and they can't breathe normally. So it's like just breathe normally. Erica still doesn't have it down. She still takes a deep breath. I've told her not to. It's just breathe normally. And then on the exhale, which is I'm going to show you, that's what you measure. That's called tidal volume. The residual volume is the amount of air remaining in the person's lungs after they've done exhaling. So our second measurement will be, Erica will take breath in and exhale normally. And then after the normal exhale, she'll push out the rest of the stuff, the air she has in her lungs. So she'll as hard as she can. We're hoping she doesn't faint this time. The complemental air, or IRV, that's the maximum amount of air inhaled during forced breathing. We can't do that with this, because if you suck it in, my God, you're gonna drown yourself. But that's a calculation that we use. Now, before, I just want to tell you one more thing. It was really hard for me to find consistency with all of the things, the different definitions, such as complemental air is also known as IRV, which is inspiratory reserve volume. And residual volume is also known as ERV, which is expiratory reserve volume. So I just put those in parentheses. Forced vital capacity is also called total vital capacity. So when I was learning how to do this, teaching myself, I was going nuts because I kept on just kind of overlapping, but I finally figured it out. And the total lung capacity at the bottom, oh, they can't see that.
I know.
Oh, okay. Total lung capacity is the maximum amount of air your lungs can hold, and it's about 6 liters. If we go consistent, it's 6,000 milliliters. Okay, so here, what we're gonna do is Erica is gonna put her hand over the top,
So
and now
you,
there's water in here.
so you do this because, and this is important because this is how we got water all over the
Or
floor.
we can't see you. You need
Oh,
to.
okay.
Yeah.
Can you see us
Okay.
now? All right. How's this? See us?
Okay, this is important that they put the hand over because they want to get an accurate measure here. And so there's water. So when they put their hand over and do this, they
We still aren't
see
seeing you.
here. If not, the water goes everywhere. Her husband gets mad at us. So it's a whole big thing.
Okay, yeah, it is. And
Okay. and-
Erica, we're only seeing the slide about the procedure. We aren't seeing
Okay,
anything
we'll
that,
stop sharing.
yeah. Okay.
Okay, so we have the water in here. We're gonna take the hose and we're gonna slip it into the opening. Turn it over a little. And because there's water in there, there's not any water that's gonna come out. Yeah,
Forcing me around.
yeah, okay. And so now we have the hose in there. And so now you tell me what I'm supposed to do.
Okay, we're gonna do tidal volume. So
Okay.
you're gonna take a normal breath
Okay.
in and a normal breath out. You're gonna, on the breath out, normal, do you get the normal part of it?
Okay,
You're gonna
okay, normal.
okay. Now we have to see what we
What the
measured.
measurement is.
Okay,
Let's see if they can.
okay, so you're gonna have to move this. Oh my gosh, we haven't gotten water over yet.
Well, you can, no jinxes. Okay, and so you can see how you can take the measurement. So I just came down 2 lines
So,
on 3.
right, and so,
You can check it over.
oh, so it's about,
750 milliliters.
okay,
No,
so she did about 750, well, no, actually, it's a little bit less than that. It's about 600.
okay,
And normal is a roughly about 500, meaning she breathed too hard, like I told you guys. No, she thinks she's just an incredible athlete with her yoga. So we're filling it back up to the top,
all the way.
all the top. And you know what? I am so embarrassed. I forgot how many milliliters this holds.
We had that on there, but you can, that's another metric where they can do the metric conversion of gallon to milliliters.
Right.
Okay,
All right. So we're gonna do our second measurement. No girlfriend. No. As it displays.
turn it to the side. And then put this in. Now realize where we got the water everywhere. This part of the hose, once you put it in there, you have to make sure that it's not somewhere, because that's how we got it on the floor last time.
Okay.
So we're learning as we go. All right.
So we're gonna do RV. And what that is she's going to breathe out, and then she's going to,
Get the dead air or forced air.
okay.
All right.
So on her exhale, she's gonna. put it-
After I exhale,
And then
just
she's
blow a
gonna.
little bit.
No. Whoa, keep on blowing, Erica, keep on going, you yoga.
Okay, that
freak.
was it.
Okay, so now,
Pull it around again and measure.
okay, so it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So it's 7 times, or actually it's 8, and that's 8 times 250 is.
They have to do the math,
Oh,
not
yeah,
us.
no, yeah, we don't have to do the math, but you have to do the math. And that was residual volume. And normally and we have a chart, which unfortunately you can't see. You can't see us in the chart. The normals is between 800 for female and about 1100 milliliters for a male. Now, the last measurement that we're going to do, what she's doing now
Is
is,
filling it back up for the last one.
and she's getting rid of some water because we're afraid we're going to displace all the water in here. Okay, perfect. Our last one is forced vital capacity or total vital capacity. And she's going to take a deep breath in.
As force as much as I can.
As hard as she can. And then she's going to blow out as hard and fast as she can. And I'm going to cheer her on. And the kids like to do this, actually.
Yeah, they do. Just make sure that the janitor likes you.
Yeah. All right.
All right. So this one is the give it all you got.
Yeah, go. Blow, 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 blow,
Okay.
she's not even winded. Look at her.
Okay, and then you take it out. And then they get to see how much, and then they do the calculations. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 lines. So it's 14 times 250, and that'll give the forced vital capacity.
Which is normally between 3,000 and 5,000. Now we have complemental air that we talked about, which is, or IRV, and that is actually,
Power.
you inhale, you go back to the PowerPoint.
Yeah.
Okay, you inhale. And,
Oh, you need that?
well, just for a second, yeah. Okay, you inhale, but there's a calculation that you could, there's a calculation that you use for CA, which is the tidal volume plus the residual volume minus the forced vital capacity. And that should give you complemental air. But guys could be creative like us. I found one of these at home as I was looking for stuff. And it was, you've seen this, right? At the hospital, they tell you to, after surgery, so you could go home, but it's an inhalation. So you could maybe, I don't know, we could ask the respiratory therapist. You can maybe use that for complemental air. I don't know, just try everything. I mean, the kids are going to like it and you're going to be able to get this. So here, I'm going to do it. Take a deep breath in. Oops, it doesn't work too good, but mine was at 1,500. So, but I have asthma. So anyway, that's what we do. Go back to the PowerPoint. Now, what we do is, that's the data table per group. And what we do is do each group, you can take an average and compare. Look at the bottom, that chart. I just used forced vital capacity just to use it. I mean, we have the groups 1 through 5. You could do tidal volume, do whatever you want, do them all. But the kids like that, and they'll go, oh, you know what, I'm gonna, yeah, this is really not too good for my lungs. The smoking is not good. So I don't know, you could, actually incorporate some health in there as well. All right, let's see. Okay, going to the next slide. Can you get to the next slide? Okay. So how much time do we have? All right, I got about 3 minutes. I'm going to do this really quick. We don't really have time for much. Peak flow meter. And this is what our case study, they wanted to have the child do this, keep this peak flow meter. This is roughly, you could get this on Amazon from an allergist, from a pulmonologist. It's pretty cheap. It's like, I don't know, $15 maybe. And what the important thing is consistency. If I'm asthma, I do this 3 times and I chart it. So if it goes down, after a while, I know something's going on with my respiratory system. So here we go. Take a deep breath in and let it blow out quickly. And it's at 550. It's at 550. And there's a chart that you could look at that tells you what's normal for peak flow, for your size, for your weight, for your age. And that's the chart that I would use if I would use this chart. And this is actually the end of our presentation, and we're gonna talk a little.
So we have to do we have to add some more videos to our YouTube channel now that I think about it, that we finished Medical Science 102. But this is our new book, Medical Science 102. A lot of stuff in there. As I said, we have fundamentals of anatomy, advanced first aid, burns with the integumentary system. We have sprains, strains, and fractures.
Yeah, PT is
with the skeletal system, PT with the muscular system, digestive with the nutrition. Gosh, what else?
Everything.
Yeah, well, we didn't
Check it
get to it. We didn't get to them all, so we realized because it was almost 500 pages, because it is all of the healthcare or health science is meshed with a body system. Oh, we have addiction and endocrine system.
Okay.
And the sport, I think a couple of people said sports medicine. We didn't put sports medicine in this one. It's going to be in 103, but that one is going to also have circulatory, urinary, urinary, and
Whatever's
nervous,
left.
with sports medicine, complementary medicine, and something else, and then getting them ready for internships. So if you like what we did, don't hesitate to visit our YouTube channel. We're on Facebook. We also have all of our modules either a la carte on Teachers Pay Teachers, or you can get the 2 books on Teachers Pay Teachers. But we also have these on our website that you see on here, e2homeschool.com. And if you have any questions for us, don't hesitate to contact us at ellen@e2homeschool.com or erica@e2homeschool.com.
And if you want,
What?
the next one.
Oh.
If you want to talk to us, my phone number is on the website, or should we just type it in here?
Yeah, we can type it in.
We'll type in my phone number. Continue, please.
Okay, I'll put it over here.
Last week we were doing this and somebody said, I just ordered $250 worth of stuff. And we said, what? How'd you do that? She said, well, I ordered this module, this module, this module, this module, and both books. And we said, whoa, we're going to refund your money. All you need is the 2 books. So all the modules have to do with the books. So if you were to do that, don't, please. I mean, we'd like the extra money, but that's not right. And Erica's putting in my phone number. Feel free to call me. We get a lot of emails from you guys, and give us 24 hours to get back to you. And we will put this on our website as soon as I get my daughter-in-law to do it. And so she's busy, but probably over the weekend. So do you have any questions that you need to tell us? Because we have 3 minutes.
I want to show them.
Oh, our books.
Yes, our 2 books, the Medical Science 101. Some of you are familiar with some of the modules that we have in there. Medical Science 102, totally different modules. Medical terminology is every one of them. Tests are done, quizzes are done, labs are there. So this is great for those of us who do COVID teaching when the kids are out. You just send them, do this while you're at home. It's stuff that they can do at home. It's stuff that they can do here, stuff they can do with the sub. And then of course, the stuff that they can do with you, you're just enhancing it because you're providing that expert knowledge that the mom or the sub cannot.
Okay, and one more thing, if you want to get a hard copy, if you're one of those hard copies, we have some hard copies of Medical Science 101. At the conference, at Nancy's conference, we thought we got rid of them, all of them. We were so excited. It's like, we're done with the books. And then Erica called me about 3 days later and said, guess what I found? And she FaceTimed with me another box. We found another 18. Then there'll be $30 plus shipping. So that's a deal. They're really nice books. So on that note, feel free to email us. I hope you enjoyed this presentation. And if you have anything, if you did anything wrong, please let us know. Okay, but we've enjoyed doing this for you.
Thank you, guys.
Mwah. Be safe.
Well, I put Nancy's conference, otherwise known as the National Health Science Conference.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
It'll be in Charleston, South Carolina on October the 26th through the 28th. And there'll be details out about the conference on our website in mid-February. So start making plans to attend now. And Lisa says she's coming. All right, Lisa, we look forward to having you. Hey, thanks, Erica and Ellen. And our next webinar will be on February the 9th, and it's called Using a Cricket in Your Classroom. And Linda Wirt is doing that. And a cricket is not like that thing that jumps around and makes noises, insect. It's some kind of instrument that she anyway. Are you crafty people like Laura? You know what that is, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Have a great rest of your day, everyone. We hope to see you on February the 9th. And Ellen and Erica, you didn't disappoint. Thanks so much.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bye, guys. Be
Bye-bye.
safe. Be healthy. Bye.